There's no getting away from it. It's the end of the week. It's time to wrap up warm with another episode of Frieren. A not-so-challenging story. A hero's journey already completed, and now a reconciliation with the world. Their experiences, what has managed to occur since then. And in the last one, we're getting a new party member, even if he's only along for the ride temporarily. Are we going to find any trace hints of who he's chasing after? One thing I do know is, no matter what they come across, Frieren is going to find a way to control the situation in her own time. But until then, Fern and Stark need to pick up the slack. With some casual bouncing back and forward towards the past and flashbacks of the hero. How Frieren is slowly growing even now. Maybe 80 years too late, but growing. While we started off the story with a rather slow burn and a cynical Frieren, seeing more of her understanding and more vulnerable side, especially after seeing imagery that she remembers. Places change and yet stay the same. It would be like going into the town centre of where I am now, considering I moved back after moving away for 10 years or however long it was, and seeing things change in just that short amount of time. Apart from mainstay buildings like cathedrals or town halls and the like, I'm guessing there's new things popping up. Restaurants, bars, shops, all in new locations, and yet the city itself stays more or less the same to her. But the experiences of the party of the past and how much it actually meant to her, what is imparted. And with the hero trying so valiantly to really catch her attention, and yet Frieren seeming so unaware and unaffected by it. It is almost, I'm trying to think of the right word now, but rather somber that she's opening up and seeing these parts of herself, what truly mattered, just a little too late. This could be it could be anyone he's having this conversation with, but going back to his master. Well, they've lost themselves out of a warrior. What was this about where they'll be going for lunch? After she tried so hard and it was actually tried for his birthday. I think that's why she's a little perturbed by it. Not a good answer, really. He'll have to apply some healing on his shins later. They're allowing him to smoke in the room. And yet the poor boy had to go through so much travelling with the two of them, with no one to back him up. Just his 2 cents. Why would she think about going after him? A visual reminder of what she tried for him. How much effort she put in for his birthday. She gonna swallow her pride? A falter at the last second. How accustomed do you seem to the... He's just a little too aged to really care about the trivialities. Plus he's a priest. Don't know what that means, but he's a priest. To be young. You have to remember that he didn't recognise his own birthday, didn't think of anything about it at all. He's been... There you go. The fact he's gone all those years without any sort of birthday to his knowledge, apart from the meal, the steak. She may need to help him a little. He's been left out of the normal way of thinking quite a lot. He is the type you have to be quite direct. I like that about him, really. But after all of this good grace that he's building here, is he going to be pulled apart the moment they actually try to speak? With still the same honorifics as... He's shaking. He's ready for a battle. He's had time to think. Seems the priest was on the money there. He's not so uncaring as she imagined. Maybe leave that last bit just in his mind. While the markets are still open, and while under the watchful gaze of the hero they had that conversation. She making sure everything goes all right. And how well does avoiding conflict? Yeah, it's a lot easier when you don't bother about all the trivialities. Considering she is such a experienced older woman. True. Another her little slide down the tiles. It was a drunk and a pit. There we go. Oh, that transition. I believe him. In a way, they are quite alike. That's the airs that everyone puts on. What they want people to see of them in public. But maybe towards the end, yeah. I wonder how long it will be before Frieren starts to act her age. The balancing act that we all try to keep up. We have to play the role for someone else. And if one doesn't have religion, she'll be the transitional praise. Is it something that transcends barriers? Everyone likes a little bit of tenderness. Try putting in a good word. God knows she needs it. Does it work quite as well on him? What's her idea of proper adults then? A almost matching bangle. Well, apart from hers is adorned, but still silver. Was he heading this way anyway? An accessory shop? What are they going to find there? Or has she received enough recently? A present. She has in her big box of trinkets. Does that pattern actually mean something then if they're matching after through 80 years or so? How much crap does she have to sift through? Please don't say she's lost it. Ah, okay. Well, that's unexpected. The fact that Stark woke up unexpectedly to that. Ah. Not the horse! Good thing he managed to clamber up from the driver's seat back into the carriage itself, but... Yes. So... What is it? Too early to think of expanding it onto something like the carriage? Surely it would be a very useful spell if she managed to adapt it from what she knows. Well, briefly is better than not at all. Stark will follow them later. He'll keep everything safe. Yeah, he was fine when he was jump attacking the dragon. Yeah, but you should see his knees now. Okay, he protects his knees by falling flat on his back. There we go, some actual practical thinking. Why are we rapidly heading towards its... Oh, there won't be much left of the carriage. No hesitation, just jump. Well, okay, they don't need to worry about the monster. Fuck's sake. And still quite the splat. I'm so glad the horse made it. But the carriage lost a wheel or two there. And the horse is traumatized. Still, compared to what it could have been. I think... Oh yeah, she's got to try and rearrange everything. What happened to the ring after the fall, the ground, the... pretty much, well, just being grabbed in the first place. Is he going to say something about the design? 3 hours. Ah, that would explain it. Poor boy. Rather than just saying what she likes. No, you decide. Look for some facial reaction. No, nothing. Okay, next thing. No, okay. He deserves a long rest. It all paid off. I'm guessing he left them within earshot for a reason. Oh. Quick, return it. Honestly, I didn't know. Or, if she did... Don't even think about it. That bracelet is hers now. And considering the throwaway line a bit earlier about it's getting a little warmer, I would like to see an outfit change, considering how long we've seen him like that. And from what he said earlier, what it's like to be young. Well, dinner's served. Left it all intact. Got to give it to him there. By the time they actually make it back with the... She needs a better sleeping posture. Make it back with all of the carriage and whatnot. Is the merchant going to give them a discount? I think they kind of deserve it at this point. Good thing that the metal band from the wheel wasn't damaged. Or did they replace one from one of the barrels? Which means it's time to be off. And yet she hasn't found the ring. And she realised exactly how much that actually meant. Is she okay with losing it though? And after learning its meaning, didn't know? I think he knew. An important thing, if not just the ring itself, but everything that went into it. Is that a magic scroll of lost and found? Well, if there's a scroll for it, can it be adapted into a spell? Because I drastically need that fucker. Ah, goddamn, where's my phone? Where's my keys? My water bottle. And how does it work? Is it an air of effect kind of compass or dowsing rod kind of thing? Choose whatever you'd like. That will do. At least she's easy to shop for. No hesitation. Yeah, he doesn't know what it was. That went a fair distance. He's gonna, well, flashy way of handing it over. Something that she didn't know with its true meaning, yet in his mind, everything. And had she up and left until he was almost dead. It's starting to get to her. I wasn't expecting... He knows by now that it's true. I wasn't expecting the chime in from him at the end. But even after its true meaning, and after she imparted to her what it meant, still wearing it. And it's not going to be something she's taking off anytime soon either. I mean, the more we have these glimpses of the past of the hero, what he was actually like, not the stories or the murals that are depicting him, but the true man himself. He was fairly straightforward He had what he wanted to do, and what truly mattered to him, even if it wasn't reciprocated in the moment. But I think more than the statues, more than the memory of anything, the fact he's hit her heart and affected it for that long. Smells like trouble, huh? Who would have thought that being attacked by a flying beast would end up with a story of lost love? The instantaneous decision, this one's fine, it's good enough, it's a pretty pattern. Even if she doesn't realise it now, someday down the line, she might, and Himmel's not going to let up the chance to once again try and get his point across. If by the time they actually reach this heaven or what's on the other side, how's he gonna react to seeing this new Frieren who has come to understand and know so much, not of the world but of herself? And I really hope it is an actual place, not just a metaphor or something. But birthdays are hard. Have you ever tried actually shopping for someone and getting them something they'd like? It can be hell. So you can't really have expected Stark to do much better, considering he's never shopped for a gift before, never really received one himself, and the one time that he did, it was in a, alright, let's go together aspect. The poor boy was on a losing foot from the beginning. He may be a moron, but it's not entirely his fault. And the fact that the priest is wise beyond his years, he himself may not be all too travelled and experienced, and yet can hand out some pretty decent advice, not just to Fern, but awakening a memory and a sense in Frieren. Maybe bringing the reputation of priests slightly higher in her eyes. But what now? After the perilous journey, making a new friend, the merchant is going to be quite invaluable coming up, trying to procure gear or anything, restock on rations and the like. At least they'll get a good deal. Also, how long is it going to be before Frieren acknowledges, maybe I shouldn't base all of her understanding of what's survivable off of the hero party that she was with? But Eisen has jumped from higher and he's fine. Honestly, Stark just needs to build up his constitution a little. Who cares about shattered knees? But if I've said it once, I've said it hundreds of times over. I really love the story of Frieren, the way that it set out, the slow build-up, especially with its characters. They're opening up to each other fairly naturally after their long journey. Sure, it's been like 3 years or something now that Fern and Stark has kind of been together. They're only starting to somewhat understand each other. I just wonder if this goodwill towards one another will stay intact for a while. Plus, those bangles looked a little loose. How long does it be before they have to rely on Frieren. So, do you remember that lost accessory scroll you got? Do you remember how it worked? Plus, if anyone, I'm assuming Frieren did a little reverse engineering to work out how the magic worked. And the fact her eyes lit up so much once it was effective and she located the ring. One hardly knows what something's true value is until it's lost. If only more people took the time to really appreciate what they've got. But another episode of Frieren down, another glimpse into the past, how smooth the hero can really be, and how long he waited. Seeing these moments, how hard he actually tried, how little she actually took up on it and understood what was going on, and yet he didn't lose faith in her. And managed to have the final night overlooking the stars with her. I would say he led a pretty good life, apart from the 70 years in between defeating the Demon Lord and, you know. I'm enjoying Frieren. Hopefully you are as well. If I've entertained you at all, consider leaving a like on the video. If you have a story or two to tell yourself, maybe leave a comment, but to make sure not to miss anything, if I've deserved it at least, consider subscribing to the channel. We're almost so close to 5,000 by now. But of course, grab yourselves a bit of rest. Look out for any birds of prey above. And I'll see you in the next one. If giving presents is hard, consider joining onto my Patreon instead, because then you don't have to worry about the implications of handing over that bracelet, even though I would really like it. But I do need to thank Noku, Sao, Guado, Kite, Raywin, Shiwan, Tori Jane, and everyone else. Because I know that even if people do forget my birthday, there's at least one or two of you that somewhat care.